Wanted to show you these new fog lamp pods that I got. Here's the stock fog lamp. This is a 2007 Toyota Tacoma. I got the bulb out of it. It's actually not installed. I just popped it in there so you can see the difference and how it sets in comparison to the new fog lamp that I have. I have my old one here that I installed a few months back. I had some issues. It's a nice looking light. It's LED. It's not a spotlight. It's a floodlight. It tends to blind oncoming traffic. I got them from eBay. I don't really recommend them. They're pretty bright. It adds a little extra light when you're going down the road, but it's just not a good fog lamp. If it is snowing, it'll throw a lot of light back if it's heavy snow, or if there's fog, it tends to shoot the light just all over. I can see it up in the trees and it's not shooting it down the road where I need it. I like them. They look good. They're nice and recessed. I have one out here. Here it is. It's nice and flat. One of them actually started getting condensation, so you can see I put some sealant on here. They sent me another one after just a few months, so I'm thinking these are going to probably end up having issues too. This one was actually flickering and then it quit. It was cutting in and out. I checked the connections, everything was good. So aesthetically they look great. I love the look of them, but I don't think I'm going to use them. I went with these other aftermarket fog lamps. They said it shoots like a pencil light out. It shoots the beam down the road right where it should be. It won't throw a lot of light back in your face if it is foggy out or in just bad weather. But this frame here is by Cali Raised. Cali Raised Off-Road. Here's the card that came in the box. If you can see that, get rid of that light there. And they have a number there. I actually called them because I'm having a little issue here. Hopefully they can figure this out for me. I measured the diameter of this and it's about 5 inches, whereas these are about 4 3/4. And then the stock one is just a little more than 4 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and pop this out. I'll show you the difference, how this one sets pretty flush. This one sits even more flush because it's so thin. I like the way it sits in the housing, but this Cali Raised bracket allows this pod to sit really far forward, and it's leaving a gap here. Let me see if I can pop this one out real quick. Right, there we go. So there's the opening. This original one snaps into that pocket there, and there's a pocket here it snaps in, and it's adjustable through that hole. And here are the little tabs. They're kind of at an angle, so it'll push and snap in. There's one on this side. It's actually not any bigger than this pod, but I was thinking maybe Cali Raised designed this so it sits more forward so this can fit in the housing, but it is obviously squared off. Maybe it would hit back here. I'm thinking back in these corners if they had it set more recessed in. I'm not too sure, but let me go ahead and pop this in so you can see how it sets. Okay. Trying to do this with 2 hands here. Let me get that down in there. Okay, try to get it sitting level. Okay, so that's how it sets. There's a pretty big gap here. Let's say 3/16 of an inch. It's just not sitting flush. I'm concerned too that the edges are pretty sharp, that it's gonna cut a groove, just wear the paint out if I decided to go with a different type of bracket. I'm wondering if it would just leave a mark there from it bouncing around. I don't know how solid it's going to sit when I do get it mounted. Let me back up a little so you can see how that looks. Might not be really bright, but I really do like these aftermarket fog lamps, but just aesthetically they look good. They set in there perfectly. They're actually setting flush. This isn't sitting flush. It's sticking out probably an inch more. And I just, like I said, I don't really like this gap. I have this piece of wood here. It's about 3/16 thick, and it will just kind of slide back in there. So I'm not sure if they did this so this pod can sit back in there and you can actually get some adjustment. It actually turns, I'll show you on this one here. It turns up and down slightly. Let's see if we can see here. So that's facing down a little, then I'll rotate it up. It doesn't move much, but it could be just enough that it's probably raising and lowering that beam, I would say, down the road, probably 3 to 4 feet possibly, if not more. There, I got a little more movement. But obviously when you move it up real high, you're gonna have this big gap. So maybe, like I said, I haven't used them yet. If I center it up, if I adjust the nut here, tighten it and loosen it, maybe that'll give you a little movement. It'll tip the whole bracket forward and back so you don't have that big gap if you have to crank these up and down like so. That would look horrible, obviously, but I hope it works out. Before I install them, I'm hoping to hear back from Cali Raised Off-Road to see if these are supposed to set that way in order to give room for that pod to sit in there. So once I get it all hooked up and check it out at night, I'll let you know how it looks.